Hello, everybody. International time is 200 hours. In Tehran, it is 5:30 in the morning. Welcome to Press TV. The United States says it sought Israeli approval before agreeing to a multi-billion-dollar arms sale to Saudi Arabia.
We have consulted with Israel as this sale has taken shape. And there have been high-level discussions as well as working-level discussions. And I think it's fair to say that based on what we've heard at high levels, Israel does not object to this sale.
We conduct an independent assessment of what the impact would be on Israel's qualitative military edge. And our assessment is that this would not diminish Israel's qualitative military edge, and therefore we felt comfortable in going forward with the sale.
The arms package worth up to $60 billion includes 84 F-15 jets, 70 Apache gunships, and 72 Black Hawk helicopters. The White House has notified Congress on the planned sale. The Congress now has to approve the deal before it goes through. If okay, the deal will become the largest U.S. arms sale in history. I want to discuss this a little bit further with Mr. James Morris. He is an Israeli lobby critic, is joining us live from Los Angeles. James, it's very good to have you with us. The U.S. has, like I said, recently signed a contract to give the very advanced F-35 jets to Israel without consulting with any one country. Why seeking Israel's consent before selling the not very advanced F-15s to Saudis?
That's thank you for having me again on Press TV. Yeah, this is a situation where the F-35s are not going to Saudi Arabia, but they are going to Israel courtesy of AIPAC, the pro-Israel lobby in America, which basically is running the show with our Middle East policy, as I've said before on Press TV. The bottom line here is this is setting the stage for a coming war with Iran. If you look at the London Sunday Times article that appeared a few months ago, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Saudis, it had been reported the Saudis were going to allow Israel to attack Iran using their airspace. So obviously there are going to be ramifications from that, and this arms package is setting the stage for the Saudis to quote-unquote defend themselves. Now, you look at what happens in Palestine and Gaza and in Lebanon. Who are the ones that are defending the Palestinian women and children there from getting slaughtered? The Shia support from Iran, not the Saudis. What do the Saudis do? The corrupt Saudi regime sits there and allows women and children to be slaughtered by Israel in those territories. So what I'm trying to say here is prepare for war. The U.S. is setting up Saudi Arabia with these weapons, and many more Iranians are going to be killed if that war comes. Americans too, and also Brits. It's unacceptable.
Okay, of course we're going to be discussing the Saudi outlook on what's been going on in Palestine, but you mentioned Iran. James, the U.S. has said the arms deal is against Iran, like yourself said. So what's the talk of its impact on the military edge of Israel all about?
Well, I think I was just in touch with a contact, Philip Giraldi, former CIA director of Turkey. And he was basically saying that the weapons sale is irrelevant because Israel has a superior edge with technology, and anything that Saudi Arabia gets is not going to rival Israel. So Israel is going to be happy with that, actually, because if the Saudis have basically given permission for Israel to use Saudi airspace to attack Iran, then Israel is going to be very happy if Saudi has weapon systems that can be used against Iran as well, along with Israel and the U.S. too. So Israel is happy with it, and it was reported that there's a 30-day approval in the Congress, in the U.S. Congress. Well, if Israel's happy with it, AIPAC's going to be as well, and so is the Congress. So, yeah, I mean, the bottom line to this, again, there's a coming war with Iran. It'll be another war that the U.S. will be dragged into for Israel. Right now, neoconservatives in America are basically in the American media pounding the war drums again to set the stage for a war with Iran. And what they want to do is have Israel attack Iran first, perhaps using Saudi airspace, has been reported in the London Sunday Times, and then drag the U.S. into it in terms of defending our great ally Israel after Iranians retaliate, as they're entitled to.
Well, speaking of happiness, one should ask how happy Arab countries are with this so-called military edge of Israel. How are they going to handle this disparity? James Morris, analysts believe this is too important of a deal to be dropping in the middle of an election recess. It seems some did not want Congress to take a hard look at this deal. How do you comment on the timing of this deal?
Well, I mean, the weapons manufacturers have a cozy relationship with Israel as well. I mean, you have former neoconservatives like Paul Wolfowitz, who are on the board of companies like Northrop Grumman. So when the arms manufacturers are doing these weapons deals, not only with the Saudis, but with Israel as well, as long as the Saudis are given inferior technology, like I said, they're not getting the F-35s that the Israelis are getting, courtesy of AIPAC, the Israel lobby in America. You know, it's not a threat. And if the Israelis can have the Saudis bolster up against Iran as well when the war with Iran comes, which will, again, be another war for Israel in the Middle East like Iraq was, and the pro-Israel lobby with AIPAC and the neocons are leading the charge on that here, and that has to be made known to the rest of the world. We do not need another war for Israel in the Middle East. So the bottom line is, yes, these weapons are going to Saudi Arabia. The State Department can, you know, try to smoke screen it that they're not intended for use against Iran, but that's obviously what they're intended for. And lastly, against the separatists in Yemen as well that the Saudis are brutally oppressing, the Shia separatists there. So in closing, we see the Saudis not doing anything when the Palestinians are brutally oppressed by the Israelis. Only the Iranians are. And that's why the Israelis are basically after Iran, as my friend Stephen Stagosky mentions in his Transparent Cabal book.
Many thanks. James Morris, an Israeli lobby critic all the way from Los Angeles, California.